Hi, my name is Kinga and today I'm going to be talking about The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. The Red Queen is one of those books that everyone seems to have an opinion on, and it's quite preceded by its infamous reputation for having every YA trope ever. So, because of that, I've never actually planned on reading this book until it became the second pick for our Roundtable Read. And surprisingly enough, I ended up really enjoying it. First and foremost, even though the Red Queen uses all of those tropes that we know and love, I think that it stands on its own. And before I get into my opinion, let's recap the plot. In the world of Red Queen, there are two kinds of people. There are the Silvers who have silver blood, they have magical abilities, and they are the royalty. There are also the Reds, who basically have nothing. They are treated as servants, as slaves. They don't have magical powers. They basically have nothing. There's nothing much going on in their life. They just try not to die of hunger. They try not to get drawn in the military. They just try to get by. And this is what our main character, Mare Barrow, tries. Her older brothers have been taken to the military, but she tries to save her childhood best friend, Kalorn. In the aftermath of many events happening, including an attack by rebellions, Mare finds a job at the Silver Palace, where she finds out that she actually does have the magical abilities, but her blood is still red. And this should not happen. Because of her powers, the Silvers can't pretend that she is no one, and so she is said to be a Silver whose parents died during the war and who has been stolen and raised by the Reds. However, she is now engaged to a prince. Surprisingly enough, throughout all of my years on BookTube, I have managed to dodge the spoilers for the Red Queen, so I didn't actually know what it was about. And because I didn't know what was going to happen, I found myself surprised many times, especially in the ending. I also didn't know who the true love interest was, so I was quite engaged in the love affair. And that rarely happens, especially when there are love triangles, because I don't care about them. I don't have a strong opinion on them. I don't hate them, but I don't necessarily actively like them either. And yet, here, I was into it. I wasn't sure who to trust, and I didn't know who would be a good partner for Mare, both in a romantic sense, but also in the what will we choose during this war situation. The ending of this book was so dramatic, and even though I was expecting some betrayals, I did not predict what would happen in the end. It was fun and fast-paced, and I enjoyed the characters, so it made for a good reading experience. But also, there have been some plot lines that I really enjoyed. Firstly, the Reds with Powers thing. It was very interesting to me how the power even came to be and whether there were more people like Mare and where did they come from, would they find each other? So that's a point that I found very interesting. Secondly, the rebels were actually a powerful force in this world. They posed a true threat for the throne and they had to be tamed and couldn't quite be. Usually in YA dystopians, I've seen the main character actually start a rebellion, except for the Hunger Games, but that has been, the Hunger Games is Hunger Games, it's incomparable. Over here, it's like a true rebellion that actually works, and that's quite inspiring. Not that I have any thoughts of rebellion or anything. And thirdly, there's this mentor-student dynamic that I always enjoy in books, and here I also found it. I'm a sucker for it. Think like Katniss and Haymitch, Will and Halt from the Ranger's Apprentice series, and also Septimus and Marcia from Angie Sage's Septimus Heap series. I will always love these tropes because adult figure, especially to someone who's an orphan or doesn't have good relationship with their parents or parental figures, and then this professor mentor becomes a parental figure, especially if they are reluctant at first, I will always loved that. And in Red Queen, there was this dynamic as well. Clara had found an ally in Julian, and I liked his backstory. I thought that it was interesting. And listen, it's the mentor-student dynamic. What can I say? In general, I feel like the Red Queen uses a lot of good tropes, and it paints them all in a way that actually makes something on its own. And although I expected the Red Queen to feel like, you know, every other YA dystopian ever, I feel like it has its own identity, and that's all I really needed this book to prove itself to me. I'm glad that I enjoyed this book. It was fun and it made me intrigued to see what's going to come in the next parts of the series. I'm not sure whether I will continue on, but it is an option, which I wouldn't think would happen. And on that note, I can finish. That's all that I had to say to you on this video, and see you in my next one.